Good Voch Rabbi Sai. Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Good afternoon, Rabbi Sai. Leilui Nishmat Simi Mirosi Ruspas Mordechai. Rabbi Sai, unbelievable news. First of all, over 900 Gemaras were given out already. 900. Now, some of them are for people that are already in this year, but that's only like 150, I think. But we got to keep on going. I'm not going to be happy until we give out 2,000. We got to get everybody back. Everybody. Rabbi say we have a very, very special guest, Yossi Wasserman, right?
Yeah.
Who drove in to see this year, all the way from New York.
Wow.
Yossi Shkoyach. I also want to say Shkoyach to David Address, who bought a ticket today to fly in on Sunday for the final share. Final share on Sunday is 12 o'clock, followed by a Siyum right here across the street. Don't mind the background. This is where I sit every day. Just they moved that wall. There's a temporary wall, partition. So you see the actual base medrash. But we don't have to worry. There's probably no one that's going to come to learn Torah today until Shabbos. And it'll be very, very, well, of course, as I speak, probably people just start walking in and start learning the Chavruza shop. But I don't think we have to worry. Just don't mind the cars going by. It's all part of the beautiful props. So just a couple of emails here, maybe more. Hi, I have an idea to get people in back. I think you should send also clips on the WhatsApps. Make it about clip group. Send our daily clips, interesting things. You say, how he explains, piece of Gemara. You can become attached with watching some of these clips. So you understand, Shkoyach Gadol for the Gewaldige Torah SM. We actually do have groups like that. You just have to find them. I don't know how to find them. I can't help you out, but there's at least one group that sends out short clips, etc., etc. It's a good idea, though. Jeff Rosenberg from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, doing the daf together with his nephew, who's visiting from Eretz Yisrael, who's fully current on the daf. This Jeff, and I'll just point out that since he's a kid from Eretz Yisrael, it's amazing when you learn with a kid from Eretz Yisrael, you're surprised in the beginning. It's like, what is going on here? They're on a whole different level. But eventually the Americans catch up. It takes them 15, 20 years, and they catch up. This is another ad from Dov Harris, Make the Impossible Possible. Basically, it's about, he writes over there in the bottom, I wasn't able to copy it, but I forgot what he calls it. The double-decker bus is a something in England, and so is the shear, something like that, whatever. You get the idea. It's like an icon, iconic. I think that's exactly the lashon he used. Iconic double-decker, so is the shear. Okay, Gavriel. This is from Anonymous from Lakewood. Now, I don't know if he's hopping the name or he really is. I don't know, but it is from Camp Vermont. Here is a picture of Dr. Peltz learning daf in Camp Snow Lake. And also on the side, they did a thing there. If you do the daf, you get a $5 coupon for the canteen, which is very nice. For anybody that did the daf. Elka Bedelman. Hi, Eli. I don't know if you'll remember me or not, but a few months ago, I asked you to wish my husband, Eli Bedelman, a happy 40th birthday. And you did. Well, Bedelman. Happy, coming from Rizal Twersi, because this is Lubavitch, yeah. And you did. A few days late, but you did. And that brought him so much joy. A relative who participates in Yeshurim sent us the clip, and it made him so happy. He also met you in person in the Link Koilo in Los Angeles. My husband was so inspired by your love of learning and also by your story. He was a general contractor by profession, but a passionate Yid at heart. My husband passed on Tes Vavir at the age of 40. Just a couple of months later. When I read this, I almost cried. Literally cried. I heard the story before, and I remember even speaking about it, but it just mamish hit me. Writing, the Alman is writing. I want to thank you for inspiring him. May you continue to inspire many and bring to the Gula speedily, Elka Beidelman. And then it says in the bottom when she wrote to me the first time, Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022, 1:59 p.m. Elka Beidelman. Shama should have an Aliyah. We shouldn't know from more tsar. Here he is, Rabbi Isa, here he is. Young guy. Oh, here you go. An idea, I'm sure, has been thought, it brings back more than X amount. Oh, so Moshe Shulgasser. We'll just show this also because I'm going to forget. Shalem, David, come on in. So somebody said he wants to donate a diamond ring. So Moshe Shulgasser says, an idea I'm sure has been thought of is anybody who brings back more than X amount of people through phone calls qualifies. And if they qualifies, the person or child that gets engaged is awarded the ring, Moshe Shulgasser. This is Dr. Shamroth, not missing a daf. And Rabbi Isai, here we go. The responsible anonymous from Lakewood. Shalom Esther Bas Bela. The Mesech responsible by Moshe Banda, thank Hashem that I'm able to thank Him for everything that I have. Parnas HaChodesh, the first one out of 6. Leilui Nishmat Zechariah ben Moshe. Parnas HaChodesh, Bracha Ad B'li Dayan all my endeavors. Baruch Tzvi Nissim Shoshana Leah. Parnas HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein in memory of the 30 years of his beloved Raiza Gitl by Zeav. Parnas HaChodesh, Mordechai ben Esther for complete Refuah Shalema B'Karev. Amen. Parnas HaChodesh, Leilui Nishmat Zechariah bas Yosef Nishmat ben Leah. Leilui Nishmat Avram Levi ben Esther and Gavriel Beniyaminov. By Sidney Pfeiffer, Parnas HaYoim, Leilui Nishmas HaChaver, Yoel ben HaChaver Shlomo, yahrzeit is the 25th of Av. Second, Parnas HaYoim, Mr. Lee Margulis, in honor of my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. Mazel Tov. An anniversary, and my 25th bar mitzvah anniversary. Oh, I want to go back for a second. What was his name? Eli? Beidelman? Unbelievable. I'm remembering now that, what? No, the 40-year-old, here, let's go back for a second. What? What part?
25th anniversary of his bar mitzvah. His parents only married 50 years.
Why? It's 25. His parents, if they...
12 years after.
You're,
13.
it's possible, no? Okay. This tzaddik right over here was nifter, just to make the story even crazier, 2 days before his son's bar mitzvah. 2 days. And his father was nifter 1 week after his bar mitzvah. Tzaddik. Mr. Avi Burg. I said Mr., but Avi Burg. Avi Burg. That's the famous Avi Burg, who gives out steaks and massive amounts of meat. Anybody that joins the shir. By Peretz Chaim Levin, in honor of Meir Rabbi finishing Shas this coming Monday. So today we put out a video. It's a very a very personal story. I was vulnerable. I put myself out there just to get more people to learn Torah. It's a cool story. I think it's a very nice story, and it's one of the best works that Chaim Snow did, and these people in New York. Knockout video, I think it's called. Unbelievable video. It's long. It's 3.5 minutes, but it's a great story. So I guess Peretz Chaim Levin saw this, and in there is Dayik, I guess, that I'm going to be finishing Shas this cycle in 3 days. So this coming Monday. Today's daf is my favorite. Peiches. Just like Rebbe's favorite is Samach Aleph. Peretz Chaim Levin. By the way, Peiches is also, there was a, I don't know if it was Rabbi Yonatan Eibshitz, but a Rebbe once asked, how many candles do you light on Hanukkah total? So he said, well, whoever this kid was, he said, it says in the pasuk, Hapach nishbar v'anachnu nimlatnu. The Rebbe asked the question and let them out for recess. So he said, Hapach nishbar. Pach is 88. Nishbar is in half. It's 44. V'anachnu nimlatnu, and we went on recess. That was his thing. Okay, fine. Daf Peiches Peretz Chaim. Come visit, listen to this. Come visit our recruitment booths in the Catskills this Sunday. I don't know who he's talking to exactly. Not to the guy. I mean, if they're recruited already, so they're recruited. If they're not watching this. But maybe he's asking people to come help. Oh, that's a good one. This Sunday, the Woodburn Shul this Sunday. Mountain Food in Monticello this Sunday. Goldshine Homestead in Liberty and also in Staten Island. It has booths everywhere to get more people to learn Torah. The Art of the Month is sponsored for complete Refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Rabbi Isai, here we go. So yesterday, we learned the Mishnah that if a person writes a get on the right side of the column, and the second column, he finishes it off, and there's Edom on the bottom. You see that? Everything's good? Yeah, okay. So, question. Before we go weiter, just wanted to see what the Olam will say, if everybody is in agreement. What's more common today, divorce or personal injury? Somebody getting hurt from somebody else or divorce? See, who said personal injury? Personal injury. Anybody else have what to say? You think divorce?
Depends on your definition of personal injury.
Well, people bring each other to court for personal injury, that sort of thing. I guess that's severe that you have to come to court. Personal injuries. Okay. V'leichosh, asked the Gemara, in this case, where the get starts on the right side and goes to the left, asked the Gemara, V'leichosh dilma hanetre gitehav. Perhaps these are two complete different gittin. V'sramale zman de kamo ve'edim de basra. The Gazia here, let me show you. He did a great job, Yoshi, on this. When you see this, the whole sugi becomes very clear. Watch this. Here's the get. Ask the Gemara, perhaps it started out with two separate gittin. You see? One on the right, one on the left, and one is higher than the other, says Rashi. That's perfect how he did it. Get one, get two. And then he took a scissor and chopped off certain parts, and he made get one and two, one get. Beautiful how he did it, huh? Now it's all good. You chopped it now. Now you can. To repeat it is a little difficult, but I saw it. It made sense. So who told you it's one get? Maybe this guy went ahead and he took two get and made it one. That's certainly not good. It's not the Shema. It wasn't written for that one woman. And he chopped off the time of the second one, Vedim the Kama, and he chopped off the Edim again. Look, the Edim of get one are gone. The Revi B'Shabbos of get two is gone. And now you have a perfect get. This is the Gemara. You guys, check it out. He did another great job. There's space on the bottom. So you see that he didn't cut anything. There's no cutting going on. Two lines from the bottom. Maybe he cut off the time from the bottom one. Says the Gemara. I'm sorry, maybe the one on the left, he chopped off the time. Says the Gemara, just like we just answered, it's the same answer. We just answered that there's space on the bottom, so now if you take a look at the thing, here goes. This is the Gemara's kasha, I guess. Maybe he chopped off the top, but he left the bottom. Says the Gemara, the top also has space, so there's no chopping going on. Nobody cut anything. We know for a fact it's one get. You can't have space between the edim and the end of the get. Over here, there's no space between the edim and the end of the get. Nobody's gonna. You mean in the middle of the get, somebody's gonna write, "I owe you $1 million." That's not gonna happen. It's the middle of the get. As the Gemara, what makes sense here is what happened is that he wrote the whole right column. And then he said, I don't want to divorce my wife. He put it aside. He told the sofer, stop. He pays by the letter. It's very expensive to have a sofer, right? My get cost me how much? I remember at least like 500 shekel minimum. Was my get. I got good use out of it. It was kedai. Every penny was kedai. Right? It's a real sofer, a real thing. This costs money. So says the Gemara, maybe he decided to go to therapy, marriage counseling. And then he, after a year, it didn't work out. He says, okay, let's continue. Sofer costs money, everything goes on. So let's continue on column 2, and we continue weiter. Says Rashi, that's a puzzle get. According to Rashi, this argues, but Rashi says when you stop something like that, that means that you told the sofer enough. I don't want this get. And by you doing that, you're mevatel the get. And that's a problem. That's why it should be puzzle. Says Gemara, we're not concerned about somebody doing something like that. Now, look in Taisus just for a second. I want to point something out here. The second Taisus. Once you mevatel, you can't continue to divorce with it. If you could go back and use it again afterwards, why can't you use it here? Umiu Omar Avrum Ezra Hanovi, which is a very, very unique name. I think it's only twice in Taisus in the entire Shas. He was, and the reason why he was Navi, maybe he was Balmoifis, etc. I want to point out that in this week's parasha we talk about a Navi Sheker, and there's many stories of Navi Shekers, etc. But there was an interesting story. I think the person's name was Baruch, something like that. Baruch. He was in time of Chaim Volozhiner, and he got up, and he had a lot of charisma, and he went to shuls, and he said, "Oh, we got to be Mamlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu," and he took out a Sefer Torah, and and people said, "This is a new star in Yiddishkeit." And they went to Reb Chaim Volozhiner, and Reb Chaim Volozhiner said, "No, this guy is no good." So one of the Talmidei of Reb Chaim Volozhiner heard what Reb Chaim Volozhiner said, and he was in a shul, and this guy comes, and he starts darshaning, "Hey, Rabbi Sai, we got to do tshuva," and he opens up the Aron Kodesh, take out the Sefer Torah. I forgot exactly what he was doing all these interesting things. The guy went in front of the area, picked him up, and threw him out of shul. He said, Reb Chaim Volozhiner said, "You can't speak." Boom. But it turned out that he was a faker, like he was an actor. Basically, he wanted to marry an almana. I don't remember all the details. He wanted to marry somebody, and so he made this whole shtick as if he's a makubal and a this and a that. Fine. The idea is that every generation we have Nevi Sheker, not Nevi Sheker. It's something that in this week's parasha we discuss, and just I remember because his name is Harav Ezra Hanavi Chas Shalom. He's brought in Taisus, he's Bali Taisus, but basically Taisus says a few tirutzim, but one teretz is that when you finish what you're doing, then you can reuse it. But if you stop in the middle, that is canceling the get. That shows that you don't want it anymore. Once that happens, you can't continue writing it a few months later. Rav Ashi Omar Diyodebe Misachto de Megilto. Let's see. Oh, did I skip something? Oh, yeah, I did. Based on this, I skipped something. Very good. Nobody stopped me. What's going on here in Chicago? Chicago, wake up! Says the Gemara. Oh boy, it didn't convert to the font. The whole thing is not on the font. That's so interesting. Okay, it's a beautiful font, and there's an issue. Did the other one have it? Oh, all of them are not in the font. I'm just realizing now. It was all done in a Sefer Torah font. And for some reason, this computer, my computer, it's on the regular font. Okay. Not only that, I inserted these words here. Hareyat. You see Hareyat? And it was the last words of the line. And Muteris, okay, worked out well. But Hareyat, I had it at the left side of the first column. And so basically, Gemara says that it's impossible that he continued a year later because he's in the middle of a sentence. You write Hareyat Muteris l'chol and then stop. You wouldn't write Hareyat and continue a word 3 months later, Muteris. Okay. So we did that. It's a good thing I had a slide, otherwise I would have skipped the line here. Muteris milamato. D'chsev Hareyat milamato, Muteris milamato. Huh? No. It's not about adding. The way it's written, it's obvious that he didn't stop and go. It's a continuous thing. He started on column B because he felt like it, but not because he decided not to divorce his wife. Says Gemara, V'dilma Yisramelei. Maybe this is just what happened. It happened. We're not concerned. Here, like a lot of times we're used to it, like a old piece of parchment has like a dark edge. So Rashi explains because they used to use like stones around it, and the way they did it, it caused the edges to be dark. So they were not concerned that somebody snipped away and did things if the edges are darker. The edges are good. You see that they weren't touched. So just to remind the Olam, this we said in the Mishnah is no good. If you sign on top or on the side, it's not good. The signatures have to be on the bottom. Eini barav chazim minatzad. What are we going to do? Rav used to sign on the side of the get. Says Gemara, Hasam b'shigago klapi aksav. Take a look at the screen. When the signatures, the top of the signature is facing the get, then it's good. Before the bottom of the signature was facing the get, it doesn't look like they were signing on the get. Says the Gemara, take a look at this case. You have two Gittin, one is on top of the other, but one is upside down, and they signed in the center. Both the Gittin are apostles, says the Mishnah. Why? What's the difference? Let's just see which one, the head over here would be the one on top. Get one should be kosher. Why? Because the Eidim, the roof of their letters are next to get one. If the letters don't have to be directly under, they could be on the side as long as the head of the letter is next to the ksav. So then the head could be upside down also. What's the difference? As long as the head is next to the ksav. Says Gemara, Hasam the Romale Keivro. So here, it just shows you what should be kosher. There's a green arrow here. Good. Keivro means like a bolt. I just threw in a bolt there. I don't know if Yoshi would agree with that one, but it looks like a bolt. In other words, it's going vertically. It's not horizontal, it's vertical, like a bolt. Okay. So we go to the next case. What about over here? If it's like a bolt, you're saying like a bolt is possible, right? This is possible. Goes like a bolt. It's standing vertical. You have to have edim that are horizontal. Horizontal. We had this. So this case, if they are one on top of the other, but they are neither of them is upside down, and then you have the edim in the center. When the edim, the edim that are closest to whatever get, it's kosher. Now, as the Gemara, but you're telling me it looks like a bolt. Look, right over here is ki'ivra. It doesn't belong to either of the Gittin, not to get one, not to get two. If it's horizontal, then it belongs to get one. But if it's vertical, it doesn't belong to either the Gittin. Elo, so the Gemara says, you're right. We're going to take back all that we said. El Rav, b'diski have a chasim. Rav would sign his name on the side, not of a get. The side of a get is apostle, like the Mishnah says. You're asking me, Rav used to sign. No, Rav signed something else. When he used to summon someone to Bezdin, say, hey, you got to come to Bezdin, then he would sign his name on the side, not on a get. Says the Gemara, get shiksava ivers, ksav soifer veit kosher. So we had this sugya at least twice before, I think twice, that if you have we had it twice, that if you have the words of the get written by Reuven, the famous cipher, and Shimon signs on the bottom, says the Mishnah it's kosher. Omer Yirmiyah, no, chosam soifer shenimu. It's not ksav soifer, it's sam soifer. That what? It's the signature of the famous cipher. It's not enough that he wrote it. We had just a few days ago. Check this out. Excuse me. Oh, mili mimsir l'shliach. Right? We had this machlokes. According to Rabbi Yossi, mili loy mimsir l'shliach. You cannot take words that somebody told you to give to somebody else. In other words, I tell you to write a get for somebody, you can't tell somebody else to write it. Those are just words. You receive words, you can't take those words, give them to somebody else. So mili loy mimsir l'shliach. So if mili loy mimsir l'shliach, we're not concerned that the cipher was writing and the Eidim are worried that he's going to be insulted. He's going to be, what's the word? How do you say in Yiddish? Insulted. Beleidigt. He's going to be insulted that he wasn't asked to sign, so they're going to offer him to sign. But everybody knows that the law is like Rabbi Yossi, says the Gemara. It's Rabbi Yossi. Everybody knows that you're not allowed to tell somebody else that wasn't told to sign. So we don't have an issue. We're not concerned. Okay, fine. End the story. Says the Gemara story. Ksuba comes to Rebavo. Everybody recognized the handwriting. So we recognize the handwriting of the cipher, Reuben the cipher, and Shimon signed. So we have the Gemara thought two. So Rebavo wanted to be machshuret. That's not kosher. When you recognize the ksav, that's not enough. The cipher himself has to sign, and we're not concerned that he's apostle aid that wasn't told by the husband to sign, because everybody knows they're not allowed to tell the cipher to sign unless he's really told so. Because of chanichasa kosher. So if you have the family name of a person, it's kosher. Yeah, Tversky signed the get. Okay, so everybody knows who Tversky is, right? It's fine. The story of the Shimshon Pinkus. He's trying to get a boy into yeshiva, and they wouldn't let him in. So Shimshon said, "You know who this guy is?" And this is a story. It fits right in there because he used this name. He said, "This is a descendant of the Chassam Sofer. Gotta let him in." So they said, "Okay, well, you know what? Chassam Sofer, you insist, we'll rethink it." And he says, "No. He's not. I lied. He's the descendant of Avram Avinu." And at the end, they let him in. This is Ma'aseh Shoshana. So how far up do you go with yichus? Chanicha is always begittin at the Sorah doors. If you have somebody very famous in the family, so you're right, but it's up until 10 generations. I would write the famous one of my family is Machzah Shekel. Machzah Shekel. Okay? Only 3 generations, kosher. More than that, no good. No. When you have a case where it says the halacha is only 3 generations, who is it like? Like Kimak, Shimon Lazar. We just said Shimon Lazar says 3 generations, and the Tanakhama says 10. Where do we see? What do you see in the where do you see in this pasuk? You see in the pasuk that banim uvnei banim, 3 generations, banim, children, uvnei banim, grandchildren, b'nei shantim, then you become old. After that, it's all over. A little bit of a gata. The Beis Hamikdash wasn't destroyed until Hashem had patience with Klal Yisrael. Until 7 different families of kingdom of Yisrael, not of Yehuda, of Yisrael, they worshipped Avodah Zarah. Ve'elohein, Yerovim ben Nevat, Uvashu ben Achia, Va'acho ben Omri, V'yehu ben Nimshi, Upekach ben Rimalyo, Umenachem ben Gadi, Boishea ben Elah, Shenemar, Umlelo Yuledes Hashiva, 7. That's what caused it. Nafcha Nafsha, Bo Shimsha, Boyimam, Boisho v'Chafeiro. Omar Avami Mikro, what we've seen in the pasuk, because it says ki soilid. How much is soilid? 1. Banim is 2. That's a total of 3. Uvnei banim, another 2. Actually, uvnei is 2. Banim is another 2. So total is banim is 2, uvnei is 2, banim is 2, is 6, plus soilid is 7. That's if you want to see in Agos Tzionim, it says on the side over here. All Rav Kahana v'Ravasi l'Rav. Rav Kahana v'Ravasi l'Rav. No. Banim is 2. B'nei is plural. B'nei is plural.
So they should each have 2.
Ah, okay. You're saying that. I hear. No. Uvnei, not of the banim. Uvnei. I hear. Good kasha. Oh, it's just a. It's not. It's a smachta. It's a. Yeah. Omalei Rav Kahana v'Ravasi l'Rav. Ksiv bei Boishea ben Elah. It says Boishea. Vayas Rabbeinu Hashem. He was not very good. Hashem. Rak loikim malchei Yisrael. He wasn't as bad as the rest of the kings, but he's really bad. Uksiv Allah Shalom and Esther. That the Churban Abayis Shalom and Esther came and destroyed. in his generation. But why? If he wasn't as bad as the other kings, why did Hashem punish his generation? Amar lahu oizim pardisiyois shahoishiv Yerovim al adrachim kadesh leyalu. Those Yerovam put the soldiers and blocked the way so Klal Yisrael can't go up to Yerushalayim. So Klal Yisrael didn't go. They were in Oil Regel. There's democracy. Shea came, no more. Anybody could go up to Yerushalayim. Klal Yisrael had the opportunity and they didn't go up on Yantif. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu oizim shonim shalei alu Yisrael l'regel yelchu b'shevi. Now we are going to punish them. They had the opportunity, they didn't take it. They are punished. So this is a gewaldige yahrzeit that somebody who spends a lot of time at work, whether it's good, not good, whether he has the right to, not, if it's ois gehalten, if it's lahalacha, whatever. The person uses excuses, he has to, okay? His boss said he has to be there 17 hours a day. No. So he has a decent excuse. But then comes vacation time, and he doesn't open up a sefer. Then comes Shabbos, and he sleeps 7 hours straight. They say, wait a minute. Your whole excuse just went flying out the window. You're telling me you're so busy you don't have a minute. And what about on the drive to work? And what about on the train? And what about all those hours that you spend on YouTube? So if you don't have that, if every second you spend learning, so then all the 17 hours that you spend at work, then it's considered as if you learn it. It's the same thing. And then it brought to mind, I want to tell you about my heilige Shver, because I'm here in Chicago and you all know him, Dr. Michael Friedman. He's a surgeon. He's the biggest workaholic that I know of. He works and works, Yom and Velayla, barely takes a day off. But yeah, this is also very important. This picture. When I went to visit my mother-in-law, now on this trip, so the first time I saw her, I went into the room. She's on the bed over there. I'm not going to show her. But my father-in-law schlepped up a folding table and brought up all his svarim, and he's learning there. He's a surgeon, but he's learning at every spare moment that he has. So on Shabbos morning, everybody knows, you'll always find him with the Gemara at 5:30 in the morning in the kitchen, learning from 5:30 all the way to Shachris. And when he goes to work in the morning, every morning, there's Torah in his car. And when he comes back, there's Torah in his car. And then he comes and this Chavrusa comes. So it's a person, he works all day, but he's all Torah. So his entire day, that's why he's Zoicha. His son is a Rashiva. His other son is Kevei Yitim. His other son-in-law learned 7 daf a day. Yeah, Nachi Shabbat, not me. Nachi Shabbat, stop working, doesn't work. He learns all day. Because it's tremendous chashivas at Torah.
The other son was a Magichin.
Daf Yomi. No. Says, no, I think it's a tremendous thing. But it's also a taina on somebody that doesn't. You can have excuses from it to tomorrow. But what do you do on vacation? You just sit and stare at the ceiling? Or the taki, you spend time. Everybody's entitled to vacation. You're allowed. But 24 hours? Shabbos also, you're allowed to take a nap. But 7 hours. You need a bagel, you need this. That's the thing. Omer of Chizda, Omer Marukva, of Amri Omer of Chizda, Omer of Yirmiyah. Dorsh Meremer, Mai Dechsiv. Vayishkoid Hashem ala ro vayivel leinu. Hashem made it faster, the bad, and he brought it upon us. Ki tzaddik Hashem elikenu. Hashem is a tzaddik, and that's why he brought the bad upon us earlier. As the Gemara mentioned, the tzaddik Hashem elikenu vayishkoid Hashem ala ro vayivel leinu. It doesn't go together. Because Hashem is a tzaddik, that's why he made it quicker. El tzedakah as HaKadosh Baruch Hu was a chesed in Yisrael. Sheiglo golos tzidkio v'adayin golos yichonyu kayemes, that he didn't destroy the chachamim. He still had the chachamim. When they went into golos, somebody was able to teach him Torah. You hear that? Somebody was able to still teach Torah. Look at the churban that we had 80 years ago. How many years ago is it already? I don't even know. 80. All the G'daylim wiped out. And then you restart and you barely have any. Baruch Hashem, we had some, few. But imagine a generation of everybody wiped out and you have to start. And then it's, So Hashem did a chesed that he left tremendous Gdolei Torah. The Chsiv begol Zechanya hecharash v'amazgir elef, a charash with the comments charash. Says Gemara charash. What does it mean? When they speak and learning, and that's how kol cheresh. Everybody becomes cheresh. Charash turns to cheresh. You become like a deaf mute. You can't answer back. They're so powerful in learning. Mazgir. What is mazgir? Once they close a sugi up, that's it. There's nothing to talk about. The kama, elef, 1,000. It keeps on going back in my mind about today. Our G'daylim. Where are they? Who are people going to now when they go to Eretz Yisrael? And it's I don't know if there's ever a generation like that. We had at least, I'm Litvish. At least Rabbi Yashiv and Steinman and all the, G'daylim. Every generation, 5. I don't know. I'm sure that they're out there. Just I'm not familiar so much. There are choshev, but somebody. We gotta go to Eretz Yisrael and get a bracha from so and so. Saying when your Hasidim have it, they still have the Rebbe to this, but unbelievable. Even Shesoyu, they have it 1,000 G'daylim. Even Shesoyu Shuven and Boisrim Vikama Ula Omar Shehigdim Shtei Shonim Levinoy Shantem. So take a look at this for a second. Just the gematria of Shantem is 852. So says Rashi, if you look at the last words, you don't have to, it's easy to find. If it would have lasted 852, this whole Avodah Zarah business, then ki avoid toivedun, says Rashi, then Hashem would have destroyed us. So he did a chesed that he got us added there 2 years before. Here's the psukim. So V'neshantem is the 852. Thank you. Saul Rose, okay, I shouldn't say his name. He doesn't want me to say. Shlomi, you know who he is. Ki avoid toivedun maher ma'al. The next pasuk is if you have V'neshantem pasuk chofei, then pasuk chavav ki avoid toivedun. It's going to be all over. So Hashem saved us 2 years early. The Maralma, what's this Mehera? Maher, you see, avoid toivedun maher in pasuk chavav. I should have made it red as usual, okay? And the V'neshantem in red. That's a different time. Maher by Kodesh Baruch Hu is Tamnei Mo v'Chamshin Tartehu. It's a machshava that just happened to me today. I don't know if anybody thought about this. I'm sure they do, but it doesn't. It just hit me today, like a very, very simple machshava. And I was thinking about Eli. What's his name again? Beidelman. And the Maher, together. For Bill Gates, how much is Bill Gates worth today? Or the guy from Amazon or whatever. 100-something billion, right? What's the nafkamina to Bill Gates between $120 and $60? Is there a nafkamina b'chlal? It's like came out of zero. No, it's nothing. So what's the difference if a person is going to live for 150 billion years? That's how many dollars Bill Gates has. 150 billion years. Which it's more. If a person lived for 150 billion years, so what's the difference if he lives for 120 years in this world or 60 years? It's come out nothing. The difference is almost nothing. For us, it's all the difference. Oh, this kid was nifter young, this person was nifter old. And we say, we cry about the 30 years. And I'm not belittling it. But if we think about the big picture, because a person goes from here to there and he lives over there for trillions of years, so that small amount is nothing. That's the Gemara. I chapped over here. For HaKadosh Baruch Hu Maher, quick is 852. 852 years. Okay, relative, time is relative, etc., but it's nothing for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, in that world, 850 is garnished. Fine. I don't know if what I said is, if not, erase. Says the Mishnah. Get Musa. Oh yeah, thank you. Sponsored by MDY Tilling Group. We're davening for Refuah Yeshua Shidduchim for Klal Yisrael and our MDY family. Join us at tehillim.8mindaf.com. Get Musa. This is the controversial. I spoke about it. There's a Yid in New York that's sitting now in prison, unfortunately. Or I think he did a lot of good in his life. He got a lot of women Gittin, but a lot of them were forced. And that's what we're talking about here, to force again. I'm not going into what he did exactly and not, But the idea here in Chicago, the famous Maisa, so there's a concept that sometimes you force somebody to give a get if he's holding his wife as a hostage and she's not divorced and she's an aguna for many years. You can force. Until he has to say, I want to give a get. You want to see. Sometimes it's kosher, sometimes it's not. Sometimes he has to get divorced because she's ushered to him. Sometimes she could demand a divorce for different reasons. So there's actually people that make a condition in the get. They make in the kedushin. When they get married, they say, listen, if I'm ever a jerk and I don't want to give you a divorce, so I'll owe you X amount of money. There's such a thing. And then there's a shaila, is that considered mu'us or not? Now I'm forcing him to give $1 million or a get. So am I forcing? There's a question. I'm not asking one way or the other. It's just something to think about, even though he agreed upon it before he got married. If the goyim go ahead and they force, the non-Jew comes with a gun, the mafia comes and forces a get, that's not a good get. Possible. So I was present once at one of these. I discussed it. And were those guys were not Jewish. But they came with a rov.
They look at the next part of the mission.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's what it was. There was a cipher there, and this. Okay, I'm not going to go. I don't want to say too many details because then people know who it is. But it was a very interesting story. There's an interesting outcome in two different ways. So also the son learns in the shir every day, so I can't. The non-Jew could cause harm or threaten him until, and they say, do what the Jew told you to do. Get the Musa Yisrael, kadin kosher, if it's lahalacha, because she's also to him, or because she could demand it, shloikadin, but if it's stam, she wants to get divorced, let's say, pasul, the get is not good. Upaisel, but she's usher to kayin. Kadin pasul upaisel. If the non-Jew forces it, even though la halacha she deserves a get, it's still pasul to get, and it's paisel the kahuna. In other words, it has some sort of effect to get. Shloikadin tainted. Shloikadin afilu reach haget ein boy. Let's see if we have it over here. Oh, so first of all, Yedis Hashas called get Musa, so don't forget what it means. Get Musa means a forced get. Because literally in 2 days from now, somebody was talking about get Musa, and we could like, what? What's that? Get Musa, get that's made, that's forced. And also, of course, we had the idea of Recha get. It's a tainted get. It has a reach. It has the smell, the scent of a get. It's not really. Says the Gemara, Mordechai. Which way are you going to look at it? If they have the ability to make a get like that, then it should be a kosher get. And if you look at a guy and you say, no, he's Avi Burg, he has no right at all to make a get, so it shouldn't do anything. It should be zero. And the Gemara is going to slug him up. No, I'll tell you what, a non-Jew has the right to make a get. It's kosher. And why do we say it's possible? If she wants a get, she'll go to the mafia, pay them a few bucks, and they'll beat him up until he gives a get. She could force her husband to give her a get. You're telling me that if the non-Jew gave it, it doesn't even smell like a get. What are you talking about? If the non-Jew has the right to make a get, to force a get, so yes, he shouldn't though, because la halacha, they don't have to get divorced. But if he has the right, then it's a little bit of a get. So if it's a little bit of a get, it should have the recha get. It should have a little bit of the smell of the get, and therefore she should be possible to a kohen, because we said kohanim cannot marry women who are not even though they never got divorced, but if they had some sort of, their husband wrote a get and put it away, or if a guy in this case wrote the get, he said it's not a good get, but at least it should be somewhat of a get that she shouldn't be able to marry a kohen ever. It's a little bit of a joke. It's false. So what's the pshat? The time in my Gittin B'kedin Yisrael michlav. This is very interesting. That if you tell me that by a guy it doesn't passel kahuna, so they'll say the same thing that by a Jew it doesn't passel kahuna. So they said, okay, you know what? Let's do across the board. Wait a minute. Time my kedin Yisrael michlav. Shloi kedin b'kedin Yisrael loy michlav. Wait a minute. I think I messed it up. Let's see Rashi. Kedin davicham. Avicham sheyisu lo itzi b'din Torah. Avagav delav gitu. Gazavei rabbanon lifsa b'kuna. Yes. Oh, they said that it's possible. Why? Because the michlav b'kedin Yisrael. What's the name of the Yisrael nami sheyisu kedin loy possible. And if not, they'll say that by a Jew it wouldn't be possible. They said everything across the board is possible. However, shloi kedin, but if they made a get against the halacha, in other words, this woman shouldn't have been divorced, b'kedin Yisrael loy mechlav. We don't have to make it possible because nobody's going to confuse it with a Jewish get. That's shloi kedin. Says the Gemara, Abai Ashkeler of Yosef. Abai walks into Rav Yosef's office and he sees Rav Yosef pounding this guy, punching him in the face, telling him, you better give a get. Whatever he did to him, waterboarding, I don't know, whatever the tactic is of those days. Please. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, everybody in Chicago knows. The rest of the world wants to know what I'm talking about. There's a guy in Chicago that didn't give a get, and one of the big rabbanim here dunked him in the bathtub for a little bit until he decided to give a get. So, he was mamish forcing a guy to give a get. He looks at his Rebbe. He says, Rabbi Yosef, we're just simple people. What's pshat? Because we're not in Eretz Yisrael. We're in Bavel. And in Bavel, we don't have the right. We don't have smicha. Abaye and Rabbi Yosef, you believe they don't have the smicha. They didn't get it from the other generation. In Eretz Yisrael, yes, but here in Bavel, not. We're the yaitis. He says, if you see any, like the judges sitting around of Goyim, of non-Jews, even though they have the same laws, even in America, many of the laws resemble the laws of Gemara, of Talmud. They took a lot of it from us. So you say, oh, they're doing a good mishpat. You're not allowed to go by their rule. Says Rashi, Lefneim is referring to the 70 Sanhedrin of the time of Moshe Rabbeinu. A non-Jew doesn't have the right to basket. And this is what we want. It says, unfortunately, we don't have the right. So how could you force this guy to give a get? Send him to Israel or something, but we can't do it in Bavel. We are just doing the shlichus of the Chaver in Eretz Yisrael. The Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael asked us to do this. Just like in Bavel, we have the right to paskin halachas when it comes to loans and people admitting. So too, Gittin, as Gemara Yochi Gzeilo is the Kabbalah Nami. How come when it comes to theft and personal injury, that's what I asked the Chaver before the shir, we should also have the ability in Chutz La'aretz to paskin. Says Gemara Kavdinish Tuchasayu, the milsa the shchicha. We only have the right to do something that's common. What's common? Divorce. The milsa the shchicha, personal injury. Le'avdinish Tuchasayu. It's not common, says the Gemara, personal injury, and therefore we don't do the shchichos. Says the Gemara. Says the Elegant Mishnah. We'll just do the Mishnah and we'll be finished for today. Yotza Shema be'ir mekudeshes. If everybody there's a rumor in the city that she is engaged, harizim kudeshes. She can't marry anybody. She's not allowed to accept kedushin from anybody else. If the rumor is that she's divorced, harizim gureshes. As long as there's no explanation to why she has that rumor. What does that mean? If everybody knows that there was a condition attached to the divorce, and therefore we could say that she never fulfilled or met the condition, and therefore she's not divorced. Or, so Rashi says it goes both ways. that people said that the kiddushin is also al tnai. So it goes get and kiddushin. Or zorak. Oh, I didn't show this. This is a forced get in a Jewish court and a forced get in the non-Jewish court. And then we have this. This is a Suffolk kiddushin, that he throws a ring to her to be miskadish, and it lands on the line. So we don't know. Within 4 amos of him, of her. Zorak lo kiddushel, Suffolk kar of law, Suffolk kar of loy. We don't know if it's closer to him or her. Zui amaslo. Therefore, you could understand why people have a rumor that she's engaged, but in fact, she's not engaged or she's not divorced. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful Shabbos, And Motzi Shabbos Beis Hashem right here at 10:45 on sharp.